Okay, let's get started. So today's the big date, the September 2025 CFE results. And in this webinar, I'm going to talk about interpreting the results, understanding what it means, and the next steps for students who need to reattempt it in the future CFE years. Quick introduction. My name is Gevorg. If you're new here, if you're not one of my students, our team provides CPA Canada exam coaching, tutoring, and case marking services. My name is pronounced like Gevorg, and you're welcome to reach out to me if you need any help with passing the CFE exams or any other of the CPA exams. And today we got the results. So we got the results, and about 4,188 candidates passed the September 25 exam, which is a little bit higher than last year. Last September, we had about 3,700 or so students pass. So there's a bit of an uptick, and that's great news. So the pass rate may have gone up just a little bit. So I'm estimating it'll be around like 70% because it was 67 last year, but we'll see in January, February when it officially comes out. And what I wanted to do is here, I want to go through each of the CP days separately. I want to cover the day one first and then jump to the days two and three. And the format will be very consistent. I just want to show you some sample results and help you interpret and understand your results. And once I do that, I will speak about days two and three, and then I'll speak about whether you should ask for a remark, for an appeal, and when should you reattempt your CFE for the next attempt, okay? And we're going to begin with understanding your results, starting with the day one of the CFE. First thing first, you got to get your transcript because without it, you don't know what you got, right? So to get your transcript, you will go to this website, which is called Certification Portal. You will log in with your CPA ID and password. And from here, you will download your transcript. And this is what it looks like. This is for day one exam. There's nothing much here. It only gives you your candidate number, and then it just says pass or fail and nothing else in here. And then if you also wrote days two and three, this is what it shows for days two and three. A little bit more detailed. It gives you your role area. It tells you which levels you didn't pass. And if you don't understand your levels, I will explain it to you and I'll show you some examples in this webinar. Starting with day one, let's go through the results together. So as I shown you a moment ago, this is what the transcript looks like. And it seems a bit useless because there's nothing there. It's just a few lines that say pass or fail. But actually, believe it or not, for the day one, you get way more information than you do for days two and three. What's going to happen is that your CPA school is going to release a report, which they call Automatic Feedback Report. So AFR, Automatic Feedback Report. And this will be available on December 11, 2025. So mark that in your calendar if you need to, if you didn't pass day one. You can download it from the My Portal, which is your essentially your like if you're in Ontario, it will be your CPA Ontario portal. And this report will give you a lot of information about why you didn't pass the day one exam. Again, note that date 3 p.m. December 11, 2025. So here's what you need to do if you didn't pass the day one of the CFE. Wait until December 11, download this automatic feedback report or AFR. I put the link there for Ontario. Then you got to analyze it and understand what is the reason you didn't pass day one. And if you need help with analysis, please feel free to send it to us. So GCPA there on my slides means Gevorg CPA. That's me and my team. We can help you analyze it if you need it. And decide on the next attempt. So you need to decide when are you rewriting the CFE, whether it'll be in June 2026 or September or maybe even later. And then finally, when you have made that decision, you need to re-strategize and figure out what are you going to do differently next time so that you successfully clear this exam going forward. So your automatic feedback report will look like this. This is that AFR report I was mentioning. This is just a cover page. It just shows you the name of the case and so on. This sample I'm showing is for May 2025 because we don't really have September 2025, but in September it will be your case, like MEI or API. And then going here, this is the marking grid for day one. So if you don't notice, if you're not familiar, the day one of the CFE is marked using this scheme. There's 4 summative assessments. So essay means summative assessment, and a situation analysis, major issues, concluding and advising, and then communication. Within the second essay, major issues, you have usually four strategic issues and some additional issues. Some exams have it, some don't, but this is the general marking rubric. Pay attention to the essay 3, conclude and advise. Within essay 3, we have something called big picture issues or strategic direction issues, and this is where they grade you at. It's part of the essay number 3. Also, you will find very interesting in this diagram that when you are writing your day one exam, when you format it, you always organize your issues together, right? You do your quantitative analysis, you do qualitative analysis, and then you conclude in one issue. But you'll notice here it's very interesting how they grade you. They actually grade your conclusion separately. They don't grade it as part of each of the issues, the separate piece. Just keep that in mind, okay? Because that has to do, that's actually one of the big reasons why students don't pass day one is because they don't spend enough time on the conclusion part of their exam. Now, this AFR, automatic feedback report, it is personalized for you. The grades you see there are your specific grades, but the comments that you see inside are generic. As I said, the first essay is called situation analysis. So that is the first thing they're marking out, and I'm going to show you some examples of it. Okay. So here's summative assessment number one, or essay number one, situation analysis. And for most of you, for like 99% of you, is going to say that you have met the Board of Examiners minimum standards because very few students actually fail this part of the exam. For the second essay, for the major issues, if you don't see any comments in some areas, like if this is really blank for you, that means you did really well there. You passed it. So the only comments that you see here are the areas you did not do so well on. In this example you're seeing, this specific student did not do well in the quantitative and also qualitative areas. Again, if you don't see something here, that means you didn't make a mistake there, right? Only the areas that with the mistakes are shown. For the third essay, the conclude and advise, this is a comment that you're going to see in your report. It will say that you didn't address the constraint or you missed the big picture item. It explains a little bit. Remember what I said. The comments that you're seeing here will be the same for all students. Like you and somebody else will get the exact same comments as you're seeing. But if somebody else did not make a mistake here, they're not going to see this comment at all. So using this, we can understand which specific areas you didn't clear in the day one exam. So in the summative assessment, you're going to see something like this, or like this, that the board objectives were not done well, or like this, that the main entity strategic concerns were not addressed. In fact, 90% plus students don't pass the day one exam due to big picture issues. So I highly recommend that you focus on this area. But like I said, the first step is just to wait. Right now, if you only didn't pass day one, there's really nothing you can do. You just have to wait until this date, until this report is available. And only once you understand this report, then you can re-strategize and prepare for that specific section for the future day one exam. Okay. And I bet you anything is going to be that essay free for the big picture issues. Meanwhile, as you're waiting, you may be wondering a question. Is it worth remarking your day one? Let's say you're on your second attempt, you were really confident in how you performed, but you're not sure if it's worth appealing it or not. The word remarking and appeal actually means the same exact thing. CPA rebranded it a few years ago. They always call it appeal, but now they say remarking. So don't be confused by those terms. They mean the same thing. And it essentially means a senior marker or an arbitrator in the exam center is going to remark your exam paper. The fee for this, as of now, as of 2025, is $275 in Ontario plus HST just to remark your day one exam. In addition to remarking, you can also decide to get the PAR report, which stands for Performance Analysis Review. It's actually the same thing that I've shown you, the same thing as I called AFR, only it's more detailed and it's highly personalized for you. It again follows the same sections, the summative assessments, but instead of simply saying the generic comments, like your quantitative analysis was not done well, it will say like what you did and why it was wrong. Like don't expect too much from here. It'll be just one paragraph, but it's a little bit more personalized. And it's about $450 for the day one. Here are some statistics for remarking the day one exam. These are the most recent statistics I got. So for May 2025 CFE, September and May 2024, you will see in the yellow highlight I put here, only one person in the last three CFEs successfully got the day one remarked out of about 50 to 100 that applied for it. So it's less than 1% chance, right? Maybe 1% chance in 2024. I I essentially don't recommend remarking, neither do I recommend ordering the PAR report. Even if there's just one small area that you didn't pass in a day one, like for example, when you review your results and it's only like one little section, like one quantitative analysis or so, by the way, you would not fail just because of one section. It's got to be like multiple sections or the big picture. It's still not worth it because it's a lottery. Like if there's 1% of chance of success, why would you take it, right? And if you still want to go for it, if you still want to attempt it, I can tell you can do it because you have nothing to lose except the fees. So think of it as a lottery and just try your luck. The only thing you have to lose here is the fee. If you don't succeed in remarking, you're back to the exact same position as you were before. If this was your third and final attempt, then maybe it's worth trying it because you got nothing else to lose. So you may want to give it a shot. Just set your expectations low that you're not gonna win this appeal. And about par, par is just not worth it because that automatic feedback report already tells you more or less where you made the mistakes on, like if it's quantitative, qualitative, and so on. And the feedback they give is just not in depth enough for you just to get better by just reading it. So in my opinion, that's definitely not worth it either. So let's say you took my advice, you decided not to remarket, you decided not to order the automatic feedback report, the PAR, and you have few areas that you need to work on, like the quants, qual, and the big picture. So what is your strategy going forward? So you've already accomplished the first three steps in my action items. So you're right now in step 4 and step 5. You now have to decide which attempt of CFE you're taking, and you have to re-strategize for this exam. My recommendation is to go for the June 2026 CFE attempt. In this CFE, you're gonna have two cases to choose from, and the new case is called KBC. It's a bread company. This case is a brand new case that will be released in the coming Capstone 1 in 2026. So nobody has access to this case just yet, but it will become available in a few months. I recommend this version 1 case because from my experience, I find that more students clear the version 1 day 1 case versus version 2. Don't ask me why. It's a very strange statistic that has been going on for many years, but version 1 seems to be a little bit easier to pass. But just generally, you want to assess how comfortable do you feel with the industry? Like, let's say you work for like a bread company, right? Obviously, you want to take this case because you're familiar with the industry, but you may want to assess maybe the other industry is better fit for you. If you're undecided, go with version 1. If you're thinking to wait an entire year until September 2026 because you don't want to learn a new day 1 case, because as you know, the day 1 exam cases repeat every 12 months because you have to learn a brand new case, is it a good idea? Just understand that it's not difficult to learn a new day 1 case. These day 1 cases are very similar in terms of AOs and formatting. So I would recommend to go for September 2026 only if you're busy with work. Like for example, you have like a super busy tax season for February, March, April, and you just don't have any days to study. By the way, the exam is going to be on June 2nd to June 4th, so it's really early in the June. In that case, you may want to go for the September exam instead to take advantage of version 2 of your case and also the study time available. Just keep one thing in mind, okay? There's limited number of CFEs remaining. We have 4 more CFEs until it's deprecated, and the June 2026, it is the last spring CFE. After the September 2026, the next one after that will be September 2027. Just consider that there's a longer wait time now. If you're unsuccessful in September 2026, you gotta wait an entire year until September 2027 to do the CFE one more time. So for that reason, I'm putting more weight on June exam. Finally, you need about 4 weeks to prepare for the day 1 exam. So if you are busy in, let's say, April, like until like end of April, but the entire May you can study, that is enough to prepare for the day 1 exam. You can still go for the June intake. That concludes the day 1 portion. Let's shift to days 2 and 3. So same as day 1, you go to this website, you download the transcript, and this one is a little bit more insightful. It gives you different levels, and I'm going to explain what this levels means right now. So this level 1 in a transcript, it is driven by both days 2 and 3. It essentially counts all the questions, all the AOs in the exam, and gives you a certain score for it. For example, whenever you get a C grade, you get like 4 points. Whenever you get an RC, that's 2 points. You will see something called decile ranking if you don't pass this area. And this decile ranking shows how close or how far you were from passing. If this number is closer to 0, that means you were close to passing. If it's closer to 10, that means you were far from passing. So let's say a decile of like 8 or 9 means in the population, you were farther out from passing. You had a lot of NCs in your exam. Decile ranking only shows for level 1. Don't look for it for other levels. Only the level 1 has it. And again, it's a statistical measure of how close you were to passing. And it's given to you by CPA so that you can decide whether it's worth to remark it or not. Generally, to pass level 1, you need to have maximum 2 to 3 NCs in your exam. But if you have more than that, then your level 1 will suffer. Okay, if you have like 5 or 6 NCs in both days 2 and 3, then you will start to see fails in level 1, and also your decile ranking will start going up and up. Level 2 is driven by both days 2 and 3. Level 2 looks at FR or MA, which is the core areas, and it looks at the C grade. So to pass level 1, we were looking earlier, both C and RC were valuable to you because they were giving you points. Preferably C's were better. But for this one, for level 2, it's looking at C's only. If you got at least 3 to 5 C's, then you would pass level 2. But if you only got, let's say, just RCs or just NCs, which are lower grades, then you would not pass level 2. It's important to know that you need to pass only one of them. It is FR or MA. In the example I'm showing on my screen, this specific student passed the management accounting. You will see a pass grade there, but they didn't pass financial reporting. But overall, as you will see, it is a pass. So it is one or the other. So if you're someone who didn't pass level 2, that means both FR and MA should say fail for you. If they don't say both of them fail, then you have nothing to worry about. You did actually clear level 2. It's also important to know that you cannot combine the FR and MA together. When I say you need 3 to 5 C's, it doesn't mean you can get, let's say, 3 C's or let's say 2 C's in FR, 2 C's in MA, and combine and say you got 4 C's. It doesn't work that way. It is one or the other. They're graded separately. For level 3, this is driven only by day 2. This is the only level that's driven by only day 2. And it looks at your role area. It means you didn't achieve enough C's in your role. You need about 4 to 5 C's out of 6 that are in your role area. My apologies, out of 7 that are in your area in order to clear the CFE. Finally, level 4 is driven by both days 2 and 3. It means you didn't achieve enough RCs or Cs in every area. It's very rare to see students not pass this area, but sometimes it happens. But it essentially means across the exam in days 2 and 3, in every topic, strategy, tax, finance, FR, you need at least 2 RCs or at least 2 Cs to pass. This basically checks that you didn't skip any areas and that you actually tackled at least a few questions in all areas. This is a result someone might have gotten, and this is good. You would pass with this result. So looking at the day 2, you will see there's a lot of C's. I mean, check out that AO 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the assurance role. C all around it, right? That's excellent. You will see there are some RCs here and there, and there's actually 2 NCs in the AO3 and AO6 on the left-hand side for day 2, but you're still passing with this grade. It passes level 1. It passes level 2, it passes level 3, and also 4 as well. This is good. Here's somebody who did not pass level 1. They failed at level 1. For this one, you will notice that there's more than 2 NCs. We have maybe 7 or 8 NCs in total, and the number of RCs have also gone up. This person, if you have this report card, you would actually pass everything, the entire days 2 and 3, except the level 1. You will notice on the left side for day 2 in the AO 7 to 13, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got 5 C's in their assurance role. That's great. That means you passed level 3, right? If you look at the FR AOs, which are AO number 1 and AO number 2 on the top left for day 2, and also for day 3 case 2, also FR it's CC, that means they cleared level 2 because like I said, you need 3 to 5 C's in FR or MA. And across all areas, if you look at, let's say, taxation, strategy, finance, and so on, there are at least 2 RCs, and that's for level 4 to clear that. You will notice the assurance has a lot of NCs in the day 3 case 1, but that's fine because in day 2, this student got a lot of C's in assurance, and that counts for the level 4. Here's level 2, and this is somebody who failed at MA and FR. And you may be surprised. There's no red here. Like everything is totally blank. Everything is either RC or C. How can somebody fail with this transcript? Well, check it out. On the left-hand side for the day 2, look at the MAs. Okay, AO 4, 5, 6. You'll notice that it's RC, RC, RC. So day 2, AO 4, 5, 6. And then if you look at the MAAOs on the right-hand side for day 3, case 3, AO 1, 2, and 3, on the bottom right there, I actually have it highlighted over here. You'll notice in blue here, it is all RC. And same goes with FR. If you look at the FRs in a red box here, you will see there's only 1 C and the rest are RC. So very, very interesting that someone could perform what looks to be really well on this exam, but they would not pass both FR and MA section at level 2, and as a result, they failed the entire days 2 and 3, unfortunately. Without a single NC, they can fail it. So this is the tough thing about the CFE. not only you have to get through and answer all the questions, but there's a very high benchmark where for some AOs, the role AOs, the FR or MA, you really got to get to that C level and pass. So I would say if you're someone who didn't pass a level two, then you are somewhere here. And maybe some of those RCs are even NCs for you. It could happen, but even at what I'm showing right here, that's also a fail for level two. Here's a level 3 example, and similar to the one before this, you will notice there's not a single NC in here. Actually, everything is RC or C, which looks to be a great result. Check out the day 3 grades there. This seems like the student did exceptionally well in pretty much all AOs in day 3. But on the left-hand side for day 2, if you focus on AO 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 on the left-hand side, it's all RCs. So similar to the one I showed you before this, it is not enough to get the RC grade. You have to get the high grade of C. It is not the highest, CD is the highest, but it is enough. I would suspect that this specific student, they most likely didn't know their role area that well. So they've answered it, but there was just not enough depth, and for that reason, they got only RCs. Otherwise, they're very strong technically in other areas. Finally, an example of a level 4 fail. So somebody who didn't pass level 4 would score something like this. It's quite good. There's a lot of C's and RC's. The fact they got 3 and C's is not the reason they failed, because 3 is okay actually. 2 to 3 is fine. The problem is that all 3 and C's are from day 3 case 1. And that effectively tells that this student did not know taxation. They skipped taxation altogether, and all of their scores were NC. And that's exactly what level 4 checks. It checks whether you are competent to some level in all areas. So for that reason, the student will pass everything except the level 4. Just a quick note here, what I'm showing here are pure demonstrative examples. The exam results are kept confidential by the CPA body, so I don't have access to it, but I can tell from report cards more or less how students perform the exam. So those are my demonstrations. And also, I grouped the day 3 competencies, the AOs, together, so it's easier for you to see. But in reality, in the real CFE, in the day 3, you don't have all of it grouped together. Like in day 3, case 1, it's not just assurance and tax. In a real exam, it will be mixed and matched, but they're still grading it together across all day 3. So the way I'm showing is a bit easier for you to understand. That's why I organized it this way. If you like this organization, if you like this tool, I actually created a passing profile estimator. It is a tool in my CFE program where students can select different settings, and it will tell and give their estimate whether you're passing or not. Is it worth to appeal and remark your days 2 and 3 and order the par report? Well, you know what's similar to day 1? As I said in there, remarking simply means appeal. These are just synonyms. And what it means is a senior marker is going to grade your exam paper one more time. FYI, your exam for days 2 and 3 was already marked by 2 people. And if their grades were inconsistent, a third person already marked it. So if you didn't pass days 2 and 3, this extra marking that's going to be done, it's a bit redundant because at least 2 people already marked it. The fee for this is $500 plus HST. This PAR report, a performance analysis review, is more expensive than A1. It's about $700, and it gives you a detailed feedback on your grades. It's a little bit more useful than the day 1, because in day 1 you get that automatic feedback report, but for days 2 and 3 they don't provide it. So for days 2 and 3 it's a bit more valuable to get this and to truly understand what your grades are. Statistically speaking, the results are not so great. For days 2 and 3, only 1 or 2 people successfully appeal and get successful remarks. Again, these are the latest statistics. You can see it's very, very low. It's like under 1% success rate. And it is a lottery. I generally don't recommend remarking, but if you want to take your chance, if you want to try, I'm not going to stop you. You can definitely do that because you have nothing to lose except the fee. And in the long term in your career, that the little you're paying for it maybe doesn't matter. So take a chance if you want to, but just expect that it's not going to work. I do recommend getting the par instead of remarking. If you only have a budget to get one of those, go for the par report, because at least you will see in detail through paragraph format what you did wrong and why. Like for example, if you didn't pass level 3 and let's say you're writing assurance or PM, they will say what you wrote and then what was the correct thing you needed to write, and you will get some insights out of it. There's some sample pars you can download from your CPA school's website and take a look at it, but I generally recommend par over remarking. And if you already know why you didn't pass, like let's say you realize you ran out of time on case three, then there's no point in getting power report because you know the reason in the first place. It's only good for students who are confident they passed, but they didn't. In that case, it's worth getting it. And looking forward to days two and three, when should you reattempt it? Well, the first thing you should do, your action item, is to decide if you want to purchase the par. I highly recommend it if you're going for the third time because it is your last attempt and you need all the resources you can get. Then choose which one you're going for, June or September 2026 CFE, and then re-strategize for it. Just a quick note, it is possible to get for fourth attempt on a CFE. So if you're somebody who failed three times and you're wondering, can you try the CFE for the fourth time? Or perhaps you're going on your last attempt next year and you're nervous about it. There's actually a way to get the fourth attempt. I don't want to get into it too much in this webinar, but I put a link here to my blog post where you can read about it and get more details. But going back to our action plan, so as I said, you have to decide whether you're remarking or getting the par. Then you have to decide whether you're going for June or September CFE. And here are some questions you can ask yourself to make this decision. How busy are you this coming spring? Do you have a tax season? Can you take time off? Can you take time off in August or can you take time off in May? Do you have any travel plans, like some urgent travel plans already booked? Consider there's only four CFEs remaining. We only have it in June and then three Septembers. So if you go for the September 2026 CFE and for some reason you don't pass it and you have, let's say, one more attempt, then you have to wait an entire year to September 2027 before you can attempt it again. So that may not be very desirable for some students who just want to get their CPA done quicker. So it may be better to go for the June sitting instead and just get it over with so that you don't have to wait extra 2 years. So there's a lot of nuances in here, and I really have to know your personal details to give you a very concrete advice. So I would like you to just do a bit of a self-diagnosis and think about your situation next year, how much time you have to study. And once you figure it out, then you can make the correct decision and go for either June or September. But I will give you a bit of like a rough timeline as to when to begin your studies. So let's say you have to redo all 3 days of the CFE. In that case, I recommend you start studying immediately from December. If you're doing just days two and three, then start studying from January onwards. And if you're doing only day one, then start studying from March onwards. Like I said, about 1 month is enough for you. So even if you do it, let's say April, even that's okay. But just to give you enough time, start from March. If you're writing in September 2026, start studying from February onwards, and then March onwards for days two and three, and then July onwards for the day one to write. So think about your availability, and this will be the date you can begin with. Okay, here are my final thoughts on this. Whenever I show this, whenever I explain the results, students say something like this to me. They say, okay, Gevorg, I got it, I understand it. I didn't pass because of my role in day two. If I see this grade fail at level three role. Or they say, I didn't pass because of tax, because this is what my transcript shows. I failed at level four, just tax. So it was tax was the reason I didn't pass. This comment, like, I didn't pass because of my role. I didn't pass because of tax. I really don't like these comments because when I hear students say it, they're confusing cause and effect. Transcripts give us hints, but not the full picture of the cause, of the root cause why you didn't pass this exam. The transcript is really just a performance result, but it is the effect of something else that caused you not to pass, what I call the root causes. And I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you a table that summarizes the top reasons, the top root causes why I believe students don't pass the CFE exam. So I built this table and it goes top to bottom. The first row there is the most foundational root cause why students don't succeed on a CFE. And as you go down through the table, it's just more after effects of the root causes. If you have no time to study, if you're busy with errands, work, or family, you just can't pass this exam. It's just not possible because you need to dedicate the hours to study for it. It's literally impossible to pass it by just winging it. If you cannot take full-time study leave from your work and everybody else is doing that, like you cannot take like 3 or 4 weeks off or ideally more, then you will not pass. That is the root cause why you didn't pass. If you have extreme anxiety or nervousness of the exam and you're quite prepared, you're ready to go, but during the exam you panic and you make mistakes, that is the root cause why you didn't pass. You may have some personal issues like health issues, relationship issues. Maybe the way you're studying is not effective. Has this ever happened to you when you spend like 1 week studying and then next week you sit down and you already forgot what you studied 5 days before that. Does it seem familiar to you? So if this is happening to you, that means your study method is not effective. The way you are reading and taking note is just not sticking in your mind. And that is the reason you didn't do so well in tax or in your role and so on. It could be one of the reasons, right? And in the second, third, and fourth row, this is just after effects. You may be just practicing, but not under exam conditions. You focus too much on the technicals and very little on case writing. Didn't get coaching or any helpful feedback. You didn't debrief properly. You're missing depth, etc., etc. So what I suggest is that you take a look at this table, take a screenshot of it, and really think about which one of those root causes caused you not to pass the CFE exam. Understand that this is not an IQ exam. Your age doesn't matter, your background doesn't matter. If you really want to pass, you will pass. Figure out the root cause, find solutions, and then follow through. And if you do that, I promise you will pass this exam. All right. So thank you so much for coming. I appreciate that. You can email me at support@gevorgcpa.com. So today's Black Friday, and I usually don't do sales on Black Fridays, but because it's on this day, if you're not one of my students already, you're welcome to email me at support@gevorgcpa.com for a limited time to get a discount for my coaching packages. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at gevorgcpa.com/contact. I hope you found this helpful, and I'm just going to open the floor here for Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can drop it in chat.